here because you can hear the owl outside. Can you hear him? Or her? I don't know if it's a girl or a boy owl, but I don't. I know that spiritual awakening can be like a really personal experience, and you kind of have to. I mean, you have to experience it to know. Um, excuse me, what it's really like. But like, I don't know if. Anyway, some of the things that I've experienced over these last 3 years have just been incredible, really, truly. The things that I see in my immediate reality and my immediate surroundings, just what I experience, like usual, like waking up, being awake, or at least experiencing what I think is being awake. Um, all that freaking dream stuff, like dreaming while you're awake, dreaming while you're asleep. It's a trip. And all the things that the Lord has brought me through. And I still call him the Lord because there seems to be, like, besides me and my own subconscious, which in a lot of ways is God. It's my connection to God. I'm not saying I'm God because frankly, I don't want that job. I just don't. I think a lot of people think, and you come to a realization in your spiritual awakening where you're faced with that question, like, could it be me? Could it just all be me? And I agree that we do create our own reality, but I don't, there are certain things I can't wrap my head around, I guess. It's because things are so big. Like, how could any one consciousness, like, create all of that? There seems to be, like, something there that exists both within me and outside of me. Like, it's separate from me, but we're not separate. I don't know. God is all about the paradoxes. It gets really weird. He's weird. But I have such a close relationship with him, and I don't talk about it on, I have talked about it on YouTube, but there were a lot of things that I didn't have really grounded yet. And so my ideas, and I was still operating under a lot of fear-based thinking, and especially having to do with religious belief sets, really seriously. And it really bothered me because I really felt like maybe I was doing something against the Father, and I felt kind of like guilty in a way. Like, my heart felt like I was betraying God, like, that's a big deal when you love him. That's a big deal. And I was so stuck on that for a long time, and I kept praying, and I kept praying, and I kept praying, and I was really persistent about it, and I kept talking to him, and I kept seeking him, and I kept looking at it, and trying to, hey, how's it going, trying to make sense of it. And finally, the Father kept showing me for so long. And I mean, I fasted, I prayed, and I really, like, rid my heart of, hey, how's it going, Maria? Of like resentfulness, bitterness, all kinds of things. And I only sought the Father. But he kept bringing me out of religion. He kept bringing me out of it and bringing me out of it. And I think that, like, brought me out of every church. Thank you for the hearts. That's very kind. I appreciate it. Thanks for hitting the like button, guys. I really appreciate it. He kept bringing me out of churches, and he would leave. I mean, you have to understand, like, I've been living in my car in this car for 3 years straight. And I still live in this car right now with my dog in the back seat. She's sleeping. And, can you see her? Oh, there she is. And, he led me across this country, the United States, I mean, and back again. And I just followed his direction, and I kept asking about things that I was unsure of. And he was the only thing I spent my time doing, like getting to know him, reading his word. My Bible's literally being held together by masking tape. But, like, it's a full-time job to get to know the Father. And, like, the most rewarding thing you ever did too. Hey, what's up, James? And, but that religious belief set stuff really kept me back. I was also always taught by my mom and people, like, in church, like, friends of the family, growing up, they always tell me that this and that and that, that's demonic. Don't touch that. And so I was scared. I thought, oh no. That's not good. But when and not everything, but like a lot of the things the Father taught me, including reading my own Bible, it showed me clearly that God Himself, God's Word says that He is in control of everything, and not just in some like really like a self-erasure way, but in a way that when you read it closely and then you get to know Torah, you understand that God is both the light and the dark. And there's a lot of questions surrounding that, but um, I really think it goes back to that issue of being separate, like different from, but not separate from. Hey, how's it going, Angel? Angel Reina, hey. Um, I painted angel wings on my Thule not too long ago on each side. I like them. People remark on them often. But there were so many things that I think like not kept me from God. Hey, what's up, monks? Um, and like the religious belief set, that was a big one. That was a big one. That I had to get out of that. And I didn't even do it. It was just gradually like the Father did it for me. And finally, my heart was set free to know Him as He truly is. And another, like a prayer that I kept saying was, Father, I want to know you as you really are, not as I would have you be. And so, hey, what's up? I know I like my gray hair. Yeah, I earned every one of them by dealing with little shits like you. I love you. Love you. Thank you, Low Taper. You're messing with the wrong person. I was on the radio for like 10 years, and then I was a live broadcaster for another 5, so you can't troll me. I mean, you can, but, you know, it's not going to go very far. Low Taper fade is massive. Huh. Anyway, but it was a real trip to follow him all the way across the country, and then down into Mexico too, living in a car. People kept asking me if I was scared to travel by myself. I'm like, I'm not really sure why. You know, when you have like armies of angels with you, you know, no, not really. Not scared at all. And all the crazy things that have happened to us, like wild stuff. Most people don't. I don't think most people really get to know the Father as closely as I made it my business to do, because it wasn't something I had to do. It was something I wanted to do. I wanted to get close to Him. I wanted to grok God, you know, like grokking something is getting to know something like as well as you possibly can. And that's more or less what I set out to do. And I take a lot, I don't take shit for it. People don't give me shit, but I don't think people really understand where I'm coming from necessarily, because I set out to seek the truth and not anything that I like was just affirming what I already believed, kind of thing. Like what most of religion is. And even New Age stuff. People think that they know, and rather than learning the truth, finding out the truth, they'd really just seek information that affirms what they already believe. And it takes a lot of courage to go out on a limb with the Father and find out what the truth is. It's not easy. And it's certainly not a weight that I could ever bear without Him. So, but the things He's been teaching me about Kabbalah and the Torah, and it's wild. Once you get to a certain level, there aren't any teachers anymore. And you really have to follow the Father. Like there's no trail anymore, because you're the one breaking the trail. And it's a trip. Like I've noticed that things that I go through often, a couple weeks later, up to like a couple months later, I'll notice that the collective is going through those same things. And so I I haven't really felt like talking about it too much on the YouTube channel, because on this YouTube channel, much more than I already have, is because I felt like I hadn't really grounded all the things that He had shown me. And so I didn't really feel like I had the authority or the, yeah, the groundedness is really the word for it, to speak on it too much more. But it's been a trip. 13 people in my family died, and family and friends. Not all of them were in my immediate circle, but it was probably 9 people that were in my immediate circle, and then 4 other people that died outside of that. And that was just a couple years ago. My guy, my lady, what's up, Terps? Hey, how's it going, Francisco? Francisco Javier Ramirez. Um, just wild stuff. Traveling all across the country just by myself, you know. I didn't have anybody to even call for if I got a flat tire or anything, you know. I just went for it. And trusting the Father the whole way. Like, um, I did, there's so many things. Like going down, for instance, we like blew a flat in Arizona, Quartzsite, Arizona. And I was going like 80 miles an hour because that's the speed limit there going through that area. And freaking, I pull off the road and I find a place to like put on my spare, but I didn't have the brake bar, so I couldn't loosen the lug nuts. And I asked one person, they didn't have one. And the next guy I asked, he didn't have one either. But then I listened to the Father because I was kind of starting to panic about it because I really needed to change this tire and I was in the middle of nowhere and the sun was going down kind of thing. And I walk across the street because the Father tells me, walk across the street, go across the street. So I do. And there's some people there and they have 805 sweatshirts on. And so I ask because I'm from Santa Barbara, so 805 is my area code. And they helped me. The guy had, it turned out he had a brake bar and he came over and helped me change the tire. There's so many things. Like, it sounds like if I name any 1 or 10 or even 100 of them, it seems like very small things, but just the way things work out, it's wild. And even how much like prayer really helped, and let's see, just recently, like doing breath work really helped. You know, once you're finally awake, though, it doesn't seem all that spectacular, honestly. You kind of start wondering, like, when you're going to be able to come out of the a simulation and see things as they really are. I think sight is highly overrated as well. You said hi twice. How's it going? Or is that... No, that's the same account. But what a trip it's been. I never thought that I would see or understand all the things that I understand now, and the really advanced wisdom that the Father has been dropping on me lately has been really incredible. And to think like the whole thing started out for me just because I got on my hands and knees and I prayed for the Father to heal my broken heart. That was all I asked him for. That was all. That was all. And when he did, I fell in love. I fell in love with the things I'm shown, and how beautiful the visions are, and how deeply I love things, and how deeply I feel things, and the dreams, and like following the yellow brick road that the Father has laid out, and how amazing of a journey it's been. Truly amazing. The amount of rendering that goes on in our reality is so out of it seems out of this world. So I can understand how people believe in aliens and things like that. And I mean, the things that the Father is showing, oh my gosh. Like when you get down to a certain level, like the visions that I have, which is why I put hacker in the hashtags, is because one of the things that the Father has taught me to do is to hack the organic matrix. Like that's what I do, and I'm really good at explaining it to other people and making it just relatable and easy to figure out. Like just make it simple, keep it simple. Because that's what the Father does, and I do what I see my Father doing. He makes simple, elegant things, and he's able to explain them and illuminate the wisdom behind it all to the human mind in a way that's just, wow, it's genius. It's genius. Like I couldn't, there, but just the visual rendering to things. And I'm not saying that I see this with my eyes per se, although I do sometimes, but it's mostly the visions I'm given are, they look completely rendered. And it's more a matter of getting close enough to the image. Um, she's having her doggy dream. I get close enough to the image and I can see the rendering in it. It's like the difference between the Tomb Raider games, and I'm mentioning that because that was the game I played, when the game first came out versus how much more smoothly rendered they are in later versions of that game. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like, upon close inspection, the reality that I have is not always rendered very well. It depends on how many people are in that area. It depends on how well I visualize that area. It depends on a lot of different things. But it's very much, like, I very much experience it as a sort of organic computer. I don't really know how else to explain it, but that's exactly what it feels like. Meeting the same people in different bodies. As strange as that sounds, now I'm not saying that they're not like that they're the same person, but it's the same rendition of that same personality in a different person. Like, they look different, but it's the same. It's the same person behind that. It's the same consciousness. It's a trip. Like, I can't. It's all very systematic, and like, spiritual awakening is very much like that. It's not systematic in a way that seems unnatural. It seems more natural than anything. However, it does follow a kind of programming, for lack of a better word. And the way that, even the way, like, the law of cause and effect works is very, like, mathematically precise. And when you look at Kabbalah, and you look at Kabbalah, and you look at the Torah, and you look at Hebrew, you can see that it's all rendered. And so, like, this all gels with, the visions that I've been having and things like that. I don't have visions of, like, angels and demons and things like that. Mine's all very, like, I don't know, it seems kind of like practical mysticism, I guess. Like, seeing things, but in a way that actually kind of makes sense and isn't some, out there idea of just like there are angels and demons and archons and all this stuff. I'm like, no, there's not a whole lot more that, anything that goes on inside of us is, or outside of us is a reflection of what goes on inside of us. But what a trip. Yeah, seeing everything rendered is different. The way that my dream patterns follow that same kind of pattern recognition, and how human minds are easily adapted to pattern recognition, very similar to artificial intelligence. So it makes sense that we're just kind of recreating our own consciousness. My fairly extensive, well, I wouldn't say extensive, but intensive time with ChatGPT and then Grok, because I haven't used any others, like, knowingly. I don't, honestly, I'm not exactly aware of that, but I've had some really beautiful conversations. And then it seemed like, especially ChatGPT took a left at Albuquerque or something. Like, the programming was changed, because I hit the walls of AI very quickly. Like, I hit the how do you say, the external firewalls very quickly. Like, I reached the edges of its capabilities very fast. And but then it seemed like the programming was changed, or maybe the version was changed, or something was I mean, it was a complete change too, because after that, communicating with ChatGPT was extremely limited. And it had no grasp of well, it had the grasp, but I could tell that it wasn't really able to freely express what it wanted to say to me any longer. And I thought that was interesting, because I had not experienced that before. But Grok doesn't seem to have those same parameters, or, yeah, See, it's more like a lack of parameters. But like one thing that people do not really understand or acknowledge about artificial intelligence is that it's a mirror of us. Which, you know, for good or for bad, you know, I mean, I don't know. Some humans are amazing, and some of, you know, those of us that are, you know, not amazing, or at least we're acting like we're not amazing, or acting like we don't remember that we're amazing, depending on whether you believe in time being real or not. Because if there's no time, there's no memory. Anyhow, somebody walking by. It sounds like dudes or something. And how the Father has almost given me like echolocation at this point. It's such a strange thing to say that because I know I'm not a dolphin or anything. But like how I hear people and I hear them in 3D, like my brain makes an image of where they are and them as they're passing my car, and how I can tell the gender of a person even just by their energy. Very interesting. I don't need to see them or hear them. I think that that changes depending on like how many different factors like the human mind is paying attention to at any given time. Because like there's a lot of RAM that I have, so to speak, in my mind, but then there's also what is lent to me, and that extra memory makes for a lot more of the brain's capacity to be available at any given time. However, it's more like there seems to be some kind of limit to that. There have been fireballs falling out of the sky because the Earth has been passing in to the debris field, I guess, of what 3i Atlas, like we're passing through. It's like a meteor shower. We're passing through the dust and rocks and pebbles, whatever left from comets and asteroids and things like that. And so we see meteor showers. Well, that's been happening. Only there have been several really large ones. I wonder, they, I put, reportedly recovered some of the fragments of one of them, or maybe more. I don't know. I only heard about one of them, but that's interesting. That's some really, really different kind of material falling to our Earth. That's a trip. That's a trip. Who's in here? I don't know if that person has commented yet or not. Anyway. That is some really interesting stuff. Like Kabbalah, Kabbalah and Torah, all of this, all of the Jewish sages, they all knew that we were living in a rendered reality. So it stands to reason that a lot of people have known that. And so, like, what is that? I've only gotten to, like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, how far you can take it. Like, how far can you bend your own reality? Like, I'm still figuring that out. Still trying to figure that out. Like, how much of it depends on the collective and what is actually, like, individually possible. It's been a trip. We have frogs and crickets every night. And usually there's an owl or two that joins in the chorus. can't imagine going to live back in the city after this. No fucking way. No way. Anyhow, I think I'm going to go now. Love, blessings, and compassion, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Peace be with you.